Welcome back to the interview series that we're having here with the gentlemen from Zeiss. Both Stefan and Regis have given us some really good background in terms of the approach that they've taken to data quality program and to some of the architectural issues that are key to making a successful effort around data quality in the organization. And we've discussed, how going in for a specific project has merit, but then also how you actually work yourself up to a point where you are starting to address things at a more enterprise level. So that's an interesting take on the approach as well. So now as we get into segment 3, the key that we want to think about is what of the future? Where are we going in the future in terms of data quality and data literacy? And Stefan, maybe you could kick off that one for us.
Well, at the moment, I think data quality is still sort of something special, extra, often requires an extra thought. And I'm quite hopeful that in the future, data quality will become a much more common and normal part of data and metadata. I also think that data quality must become much more automated and also be applied to the data all along the data lifecycle. That is what we then call data observability. So this will become an integral part, at least I hope, in the future of data quality. But to make this happen, artificial intelligence will play a very important role for automating all these aspects of data quality. For example, automatically generating data quality rules or finding anomalies and so on. And so, but maybe to make this really good and so that we can rely on this part, I think we have to make sure that the AI really understands our data very well and that there's a close connection between data quality and the semantics of the data.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Stefan was just telling about the importance of having data quality metrics available in the metadata. And I would add to this that it's also important to measure the quality of this metadata. So the intrinsic data quality of your data set might be fantastic, but it's of little value if it can be found, shared, or if it's poorly documented. So at Zeiss, we're expanding data quality to encompass metadata quality by adopting the FAIR principle. So FAIR is an acronym which stands for findable, accessible, interoperable, and reusable. This concept originally comes from the research realm, and we're trying to apply it to the industry. So 2 of our colleagues are working intensively on this topic, and you can expect to hear from them very soon. So, and as for data literacy, so despite the advancements in data quality automation and the supportive role of AI, people will remain central to the success of a data quality program. There again, you may want to adopt a multi-thread approach to your program, combining traditional face-to-face training, typically for train the trainer kind of programs, and also online educational material to ensure scalability. So I guess the future of data literacy will feature more adoption of gamification, so game-based learning. We have experimented this approach by incorporating a quiz into one of our trainings. So we basically let the participants know at the very beginning of the session that there will be a quiz in the end. And we've noticed that they actually do pay more attention. So it kind of spices up the session and better engage participants, particularly when in content that might initially be perceived as a bit dull. So the future of data literacy will also feature more active engagement on enterprise social network to boost the visibility of your program and to better advocate data quality at scale.
Yeah, very important aspects that both of you have mentioned. The whole, this is a wonderful time to be doing, data quality, because there's so much that has happened in the area of AI and gamification and some of these key things that you've both been speaking about, which is now available, that maybe if you turned the clock back, 15 years or so, a lot of that wouldn't have been so easily available to us. And so, this is a great time to be doing these types of programs for sure. And it's exciting stuff. Way back, if people had started talking about metadata, people would have started, their eyes would have rolled backwards and they'd be starting to yawn, but these days, I mean, with some of those capabilities around, metadata becomes a fascinating area, and an area that everyone really wants to start getting their fingers into that. From what you both said, it sounds like the timing is perfect to move forward in some of those areas. So I'm excited for you both. If we step back from all of this, though, and just reflect on everything we've been discussing so far in this interview, if you were to kind of distill it down to the one key takeaway that you'd like to leave with our viewers, how would you put that across?
Yeah, so we may have had a peculiar approach to the implementation of a data quality program by focusing on the tool first. I may not necessarily recommend to begin such a program from the tooling part. People and process may be an easier starting point in your organization, but I definitely recommend to invest in the development of an in-house data quality toolkit. Not only because it's fun and it's a great adventure, but also it will pay off in the end. What we realize discussing at different various conferences is that even if you buy from a vendor, you end up having to develop on top of it most of the time anyway.
And from my side, I think, we hear everywhere people say that data is essential for business now and in the future. Good data quality is essential. But just everybody saying this is still not enough. We are not there yet in the bright future. It still requires a lot of hard work and a systematic approach to get where really data is essential and good data quality can be reached.
Yeah, I think that's such an important point, that we're not at a point where we can just hit a button and magic happens and everything's done. It does require work and commitment, and the evangelizing, etc. that you mentioned earlier, Regis, I think is such an important point as well to carry an organization into the future. People need to be inspired and stirred to action to move forward. But certainly getting a really great foundation in terms of your toolkit, and getting that in place so that it works, and it addresses all of the complexities in the organization is absolutely foundational. It's no good inspiring everyone and then you don't have the tools in place. So, to your point, Regis, in terms of where do you start in terms of your 3 pillars, I think you guys have taken a great approach in terms of getting the tools in place first and then building in the rest. So I just want to congratulate both of you in terms of a really great approach for your organization, and wish you all the best going forward. And perhaps in time to come, you can come back and give us some more updates on the progress that you're making in some of the other areas.
Definitely. Thank you, Derek, for having us. It was a real pleasure again.
Yeah, thank you also from my side.